Lady Gaga is the greatest artist of all time. Hear me out. So, when I was 14 years old, it was 2009, and Stephanie Germanotta had just made it big on the music scene with her breakout hits Poker Face and Just Dance. Now, for those of you who've never watched my channel before, like, okay, this guy is just a Lady Gaga stan. For those of you who have watched it before, you're thinking, what the hell is he talking about? As I said, let me explain. So, back in 2009, the general energy, I guess you could say, of pop music or electronic was fairly tame. I mean, there was great music back then, don't get me wrong. But when Gaga came onto the scene, it was just absurd what she was doing. You watch her music videos back in the day, the outfits she wore, the the types of creative designs she had on set were all her own, mind you, which is one of the things I admire about her, is she was very hands-on with the art that she created. But believe it or not, she got made fun of quite a bit in the industry because of her decisions. You know, a lot of artists, they start to grow, they build an audience, and they get noticed by record labels, and those labels have one goal, and that's to make money. And usually they will not do anything that jeopardizes that opportunity to make money, right? So a lot of stuff Gaga was doing was not safe in their eyes. It was I guess you could say, a brand risk. So she didn't care about that. She just decided to fight them anyway. And it ended up changing the landscape of music. Then you had Katy Perry and Nicki Minaj and all these other artists who suddenly started to have a little bit more of an outlandish look to their videos. And I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. I think all art in some way or another is derivative. In fact, it really annoys me when people say nothing's original nowadays. Like, well, nothing has been original since you were born, or long before you were born, right? Every concept you know as a human being comes from a language that you learned from someone else. I mean, even your own religious beliefs developed as a result of someone else telling you about them, whether that was your parents or your parish or whatever. But I mean, that's a whole separate thing. We can get into a philosophical discussion about human understanding or knowledge. But what I want to drive home is that, you know, there are tons of great artists out there, very admirable ones at that. But one thing that makes Gaga really stand out is the fact that she managed to make a successful career out of doing things her way, which is kind of against the grain of most things that we learn in life. Usually we're told that there is a bit of compromise that we have to give in whatever we do, right? If we want, let's say you're making a movie, if you want everyone to be on board with it, you have to come up with an idea that they're willing to produce alongside you. So if you give too much, you become a pushover, and your idea becomes absolutely mangled by the opinions of others. But if you're a tyrant and you don't give at all, well, no one's going to want to work with you. So compromise at the end of the day. But what was unique about her is her vision was so strong that it did not matter what she came up with. It was such a grandiose idea. And don't get me wrong, there are lots of people who don't like Lady Gaga or her music. But one thing you can't argue is that she had a profound impact on the music industry in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And even today, I mean, she is someone who makes what she wants to make. And to me, that's a big inspiration, especially as someone who is sitting here in the dark talking to their phone in the car. Because I know it's not the most highly produced piece of content, but there is something intrinsically deep within my soul that I want to share with whoever's willing to listen. And that just so happens to be about Lady Gaga tonight. Thankfully for modern day platforms like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all these things, you can do that. You can reach out to a bunch of people, which is really great. Damn, I missed my off-ramp. Oh well, that's fine. These guys really just don't want to let me over. So, if there's any takeaway from this, it's that you can just do you. You don't have to conform to any notion or idea of the kind of art you think you should make. Oh my gosh, thank you, finally. You can experiment with your ideas, especially at the beginning. I don't know if anyone watching this is interested in YouTube or music production or acting or being a filmmaker, but if you have some really dumb idea in the eyes of others, I challenge you to go out and do it anyway. If you can do it by yourself, go for it. And then as you refine your taste, you'll start to have a better idea of what other people are willing to work with you on and what other people actually want to see, because that is an element of it too, right? Like, I could sit here and pontificate, and maybe I'm really interested in hearing it. No one wants to hear me yap about this stuff. But if there are people and there is a common thread of interest, then that is what you can go towards. And here we come back to the idea of compromise, because eventually you will shy away from the ultimate reason that you initially started, but you'll have to refine that root cause again, that balance. You're always striking a balance between how you're serving others and how you are fulfilling your own desire, as it were. So I've finally made it to the route I was going. You have a great night, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.